Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my bedroom, and welcome back to another episode of me. Welcome to the Emmy extravaganza, the Emmy experience. And if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And if you've been here before, you know what to do. If you're feeling the vibes, you're gonna hit that what? You're gonna hit that subscribe. Thank you. No, but seriously, it really does help me out a lot. I am new on the internet and it's been growing pretty fast and I would love to keep that momentum. I also do have an Etsy link in my description if you want to check out some candles that I just started selling. I'm really bad at promoting myself, but you will be seeing me do that a lot more because it's all about evolving and we're trying new things. It's all about getting comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. I still sometimes feel uncomfortable filming, but here I am. Now I'm slowly starting to get comfortable with it, so now I have to try and see if anybody wants to look at my candles. But that's not today's topic. Today's topic is the rising signs. So let's just describe what rising signs mean first. Okay, so your rising sign is determined by your first house, basically the time that you were born. So I can pull up a chart, basically a chart, but the time of your birth describes your rising sign. So if you don't know what time you were born, you probably don't know your rising sign, which means you probably don't really know your houses. Some people, if they weren't born in the US or whatever reason, they just don't actually have that information accessible to them. But yeah, what rising represents is each house, each sign has a statement, like a I am, I think, I believe, I feel, right? So the first house is ruled by Aries. All the houses, they go in order of the zodiac sign. So first house is Aries, second house is Taurus, 12th house is Pisces, right? So the statement that is associated with Aries is I am. So this house, the first house, has a lot of themes that have to do with Aries, being the self, right? So that would make the first house being the energy that you present to the world. It's the first impression that you make. It's how and who you feel you are. It could be, do you feel more introverted? Do you feel more extroverted? Your rising sign has a play in that. When you first meet people, okay, this is more based off first impressions, mainly how you present yourself, your physical appearance. It also is the vibe that you give off. Okay, so Astro Finesse is an amazing astrologer that's on YouTube. Shout out to you. He described in one of his videos, your rising sign would be like, think of a house. So your rising sign would be the outside of the house. How does the grass look? What does the front door look like? Is there a driveway? Like how the house looks at first. Your sun sign would be like the living room. Everybody knows, when they first go into a house, you normally are in the living room, right? It's the most accessible to people, your general energy, because clearly just because the outside of a house looks a certain way doesn't mean the inside is gonna look that way, right? And then your moon sign would be your bedroom, okay? So like your bedroom is, the closest representation of who you really are, right? That private emotional side of yourself. So they're all you, they're all your home, but they all just mean different things. So I hope that made sense. The rising sign also determines your chart ruler. Aries is ruled by the first house. So if somebody had an Aries rising, for example, your chart ruler would be Mars. So the Mars energy would have a dominant characteristics in how you present yourself, in your personality. So Mars energy is very intense, it's very determined, it's very motivated, it gets things done, it's very sure of itself. So somebody with an Aries rising would come off more in these ways. So if you're learning astrology, don't get caught up on just learning the signs. Also know the planets, because if you know the planets and you know the mythology of the planets, then you know the signs, right? So Mars was the god of war. Of course, there's gonna be an aggression aspect, a determined aspect to it, right? So Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. So of course there's those aspects in Scorpio and Aries, if that makes sense. So like, for example, my rising sign is Virgo. My chart ruler is Mercury, because that's the planet that rules Virgo, and Mercury is all about communication. Virgo is the more introverted side of Mercury, while Gemini is the more extroverted side of Mercury. But I do have Gemini placement, so I'm a lot of things. That's Gemini for you. Let's just get into the next sign. So now that you have a better understanding of what the rising sign means in astrology and how you can apply it and how you can look it up in your chart, let's move on to the next sign. When it comes to Leo risings, they are very confident when you first meet them. They can be a little flashy. They just like to stand out. They're very original. Flashy could be that they like to wear a lot of colors. It could be name brand things. It could be like color blocking or patterns. They know what looks good on them. They could even have like different colored hair. They just stand out. Like they're just very noticeable people, if that makes sense. They're very confident in themselves, so they know who they are. They know they're the shit. They know they're the shit, basically. And they're really big on people. The relationships that they have are really important to them. They're just really good at talking to people as well. So they might find themselves in a lot of like leadership roles or even like entertainment. It's because they like to make people happy. They like to make people laugh. When you look at the 5th house, there is a like theater aspect to it. So they're very like everything they do, not everything they do, but they can just be very over the top with things, or like they do things in a dramatic way. Like the reactions, and like they may have like a very animated face, like when you're talking to them, like really just like expressive. They just go all out with an emotion, or like they really just, it's theatrical a little bit. Like I don't really know how else to describe it, but 5th house, it does represent like creativity, and there's like a theater aspect to it on top of like romance and self-love and things like that. Speaking of self-love, Leo risings, they're very sure of themselves. They're very confident in themselves. They love themselves. So I feel like Leos, they're ruled by the heart, right? So they just shine very bright. And I feel like Leo risings or any Leo placements, like you might feel like you have a lot of haters, or you might feel like you have a lot of people who really like you. And I think it's just the fact that you are so sure of yourself, and like you give that light to other people too. But sometimes people can be threatened by you because they aren't able to love themselves. Like some people, self-love is actually very hard for them. And I know that might sound a little shocking to you, Leo rising, but what you naturally possess can probably like rub some people the wrong way is kind of what I'm trying to get at. But I'm not saying dim yourself for nobody. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I know that you would, because you're very considerate about the people around you as well. But like you care about the people around you, especially the people that you're close to, but that's not needed. You know, people, they either fuck with you or they don't, and it's not your job to make yourself more fuck withable. Yeah, their Leo risings are very social people. They like to be in social settings. They're very extroverted. They rather like, instead of hanging out one-on-one, would rather be in a big group with their friends and, you know, mixing and mingling in that way. They're excited to talk to new people, and you're able to connect with a lot of people who are different than from you as well. I don't know, I guess like it's kind of like Aries, where it's like very friendly and like childlike in a way. But it's also like Sagittarius, where it's just very confident. Like it's a little bit of both. I don't know. I like to think of Leos as sunshine on a cloudy day. But yeah, so this is your rising sign. So having a Leo rising would make you very extroverted, but you may feel like you're more of an introvert depending on your sun sign or your moon sign. But how you come off, when people first meet you, you know, you're very engaged, you're happy to talk to them, even if you are more of an introverted person. Like Leos, because they're ruled by the lion, the lion's mane, you know, so they tend to have thick hair, full hair, maybe like big curly hair. Like those kind of hair types tend to be associated with Leos or Capricorns as well. They're very like sensitive people, even though they don't really show it. Like, I don't want to say vulnerable, but they wear their heart on their sleeve, and they're just like very open and like authentic to themselves. Like they really just like want to give love, kind of like Aries, where they want to like talk to everybody, but this is more like love. Like they really just want to like a golden retriever in a way. Like they really just want to like share those emotions. Leos, they leave an impression, and they try to make people feel good after leaving them. Like they want people to feel happier than when you first ran into them. Leave that encounter with them feeling, you know, more uplifted than how you left it. Is definitely a Leo trait, which again is one of the reasons that makes Leos such a great like entertainers, musicians, theater people, anything that's like with entertainment, because you have that pizzazz, like personality wise, but also like in entertainment, you need to make people feel whatever emotion that you're delivering, right? So that's very natural for you to do. And you know, this could also vary based on what's in your 5th house and what your sun sign is in. And that's also one of the things that makes like Leo so like attractive to other people. Like as a Leo rising, you might notice like a lot of people want to be around you because your energy is very warm, but at the same time you might have people who don't want to be around you because they're like threatened or intimidated by you, because your love is so strong. And also like you just shine very bright, and like you're also very confident in yourself. And like I said earlier, like some people, they really just aren't able to do that for themselves. So when somebody can do that not only for themselves but for other people, it just like threatens them. But yeah, Leo risings, they're pretty easy to spot out because they do everything big. Their aesthetic is very noticeable, and their energy is just like, what's the sister that's Miss Perfect from Encanto? Like, you know, always put together, very over the top. Like she really just wants to make her family happy and like do it right. And like she's making all these roses because she knows everybody loves them. Like that's just such Leo energy. And then also like she's just like very into herself. It's just also Leo. But yeah, I think some things like I think Leos like need to learn or like be okay with is that like not everybody is going to like you. You might already know that. And like don't dim yourself for nobody. Don't change yourself for nobody. Just let them go, because the people that are meant for you are going to be there. So don't ever let nobody make you feel less than. That's the last thing you need. You're just so authentically you. Like some people are just threatened by that. So don't pay that no mind. Don't ever tone yourself down. Don't ever shrink yourself for nobody. Please don't. You promise me? You pinky promise you won't? Because we don't got time for that. Don't ever tone yourself or lower yourself, shrink yourself to make other people feel more comfortable, because at the end of the day, that is just on them and has nothing to do with you. But yeah, that's all that I have for Leos. Please comment down below. Let me know if this resonated with you, if I forgot anything. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for stopping by.